What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. With this video, we're hopping back into Exceptional X-Men. As we pick up with issue number 11, we got a guest star of Ironheart. And this story is gonna pick us up in Chicago on an average afternoon. We got Bronze, Malay, and Axo. They're all walking through the park, really just enjoying the day. But while they walk through the park, what they see on a bench nearby, they refer to as a space swirly. Probably the size of a silver dollar. We have a small, glowing, pink item that sits on this bench. And as described, it's swirly. As our three mutants look at this, they gotta think, like, this has gotta be something we need to tell Kitty about. We don't know what this is, we don't know where this thing came from. And for all we know, it could be extremely dangerous. And while they discuss maybe we should back away from it, maybe we shouldn't mess with it, Axo's a little hesitant to get involved in anything, especially after what happened with Sinister. In the midst of this discussion, this is when something grabs Bronze. That something is Tank. His hand coming out of this pink portal, and then his whole body. He lets all of them know that you're messing with something that belongs to me. Now, of all the mutants that he could have grabbed, he grabbed Bronze. Probably the worst of them to grab as Bronze begins to use her powers. She's wrapping up Tank. And as Tank gets wrapped up, we have the arrival of Ironheart. And as we watch this fight unfold, Tank having Bronze in his hand, Ironheart going directly after him, but he's also trying to smash the others. This is when that surge underneath Tank, it begins to open up. While they battle Tank, he falls into it. He says that he's moving on to greener pastures. In the blink of an eye, Tank is gone, and now they're left wondering, what the hell just happened? Now, as they begin to examine this, Bronze does make a comment that they've met before, her and Riri, that they had met at Cookout years ago. She was probably like 10 years old and Riri was in high school. Riri's mom's best friend's grandma went to church with her grandma. While Riri is examining this little space swirly, as they call it, she's letting them know that Tank probably isn't gonna turn up again. That you guys could probably head out and go to your super secret mutant society meeting. Of course, they're gonna ask, like, why do you assume that we have some secret mutant meeting? And Riri tells them, like, I used to be friends with Cyclops. He used to have a lot of mutant meetings. I assume that all mutants just have meetings to go to. And so as the three of them take off, we pick up nearby. We pick up at the Not a Mutant meeting, which is actually our mutants' 1-year anniversary with this team. It has been 1 year since they have been under the tutelage of Emma Frost and Kitty Pryde. And while Kitty will admit that it's a relatively silly gesture, she wanted to know that all of them, she's proud of every single one, that these guys have matured a lot. They've been through a lot, and they truly are becoming a good team. But when Kitty Pryde hears what happened in the park, this does rather upset her. It upsets her because they didn't call in for backup. Even though Ironheart had been there to help them, they didn't call for any help. Now, Bobby, Emma, they don't think that they should be holding these kids' hands. In fact, they go on to say that when we were their age, we were doing more, if not the same exact things. And this is kind of Kitty's problem, that when we were their age, it was bad. It was a mistake, and none of it should have happened. That's when Kitty storms out, not really able to deal with this situation right now. They're all wondering, is Kitty mad at us for doing something? But with Kitty taking off, she goes to meet up with Nina. This is her current, more or less girlfriend. She's kind of been around, they've kind of hung out, but the truth is, Kitty Pryde's got a lot going on. But the whole reason Kitty met up with her is because she told Nina that she left something important back at her apartment. Now, Nina's been trying to figure out what this important item is. That's when Kitty Pryde pulls out a toothbrush. And this is when they have the most awkward of conversations. Because Nina's saying, like, Kitty, I didn't leave that by accident. This is when she tells Kitty maybe it's a good time we have this conversation. Asking Kitty, what are we? Are we in a relationship? Are we girlfriend and girlfriend? What is this? Are we casually dating? Because in Nina's mind, I left that toothbrush over there because we are actively seeing each other. That I am at your house so often, it justifies having the toothbrush in your bathroom. And so while Kitty Pryde tries to find her way through this awkward conversation, we pick up in the park. Riri has been sitting here trying to figure out what this pink little swirl is. What they learn is that this has a precise set of emotional signatures bound to its temporal emissions. In layman's term, it will draw in people who are temporarily sensitive or people with a connection to it. So the odds that Tank made this are slim to none. It is more likely that he found it. As Riri takes off to the lab, this portal here slowly gets bigger. At this point, Kitty Pryde has left her conversation with Nina, telling her that she's just had so much going on, and this deserves a real conversation, not a on-the-spot discussion. And Kitty, she will admit that she's not necessarily proud of how that went. She's got a lot to think about. She came back to Chicago to clear her mind, to detach, not to get more attachments. But ever since she got to Chicago, that's all she's really found. She knows this is all her own choices. Deep down, she knows she needs to stop babying these kids. Right now, she feels like she's at a crossroads. As she walks through the park, not paying attention to her surroundings, she falls into this portal. As she steps on it, it expands. So much so it allows her whole body to fit through. And so when the bystanders look around, they see that Kitty Pryde fell through the portal. And that is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. There is not a lot going on in this issue. This is definitely more storytelling and not a whole lot of action. Ironheart being here, pretty redundant. Was not necessary in the slightest bit, but we all can assume that she's here because the Ironheart series, the TV series, was ongoing. So guest starring Ironheart, you know, it is what it is. They gotta promote the show, they gotta do the whole thing, the whole song and dance. We all get it, we all understand. And at the end of the day, Ironheart literally did nothing here. She did nothing. She came in, Bronze pretty much beat up Tank. She looked at this swirly little pink thing for a while, and then Riri took off. Like, that was the extent of her purpose in this comic. But more than anything, this is all about the character development of Kitty Pryde. She's struggling a lot. It has been 1 year, which is crazy to think about. We are sitting 1 year since the fall of Krakoa. And Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, they jumped right into making a new X-Men team. Though it wasn't intentional for most of our X-Men, them creating teams, it hasn't necessarily been a choice. It's something that has fallen into their lap, all with the exception of Cyclops. Because when Krakoa fell, mutants scattered to the wind. What many of us never considered wasn't the mutants that were already on the island. What many of us never thought about were the mutants that have yet to become mutants. The ones that are just on the precipice, or the ones that are newly mutants and didn't think to join up with Krakoa. We're still trying to understand what it meant to be a mutant. And so when Krakoa fell, there were droves of young teen mutants, of impressionable people, of scared people. They were looking for somewhere to go, a safe haven, a community. And so, you know, our legacy characters, they felt like they had no other option but to continue on the story, to continue on the tradition, the legacy, the one that Professor Xavier had taught them, to house these young mutants, to protect them, and show them how to protect themselves. And Kitty Pryde, she has a point. She doesn't want these kids having to fight the same fights that they had to fight. They don't want them out here having to protect themselves from people like Sinister or organizations like 1 or 0. They want them to just be able to live boring, mundane lives, just like humans do. But the world that they live in, this is just simply not a possibility. It's not an option. And while Kitty Pryde is filled with hope and ambition of trying to make a world that doesn't have that, trying to give these kids the life that they didn't have, the childhood that was taken from them, the world just isn't there yet. And no matter how bad Kitty wants it, it's gonna take time for the world to get there, which means in the meantime, these children are gonna have to be raised the same way that they were, ready for war, ready to defend all of mutant kind. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that is going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been going on with the X-Men ever since the fall of Krakoa. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, you're getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do this, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.